Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And let me start off this video by saying One Piece fans are eating good. You guys have an ongoing manga, the Netflix show is coming out, and just next week, Gear 5 is set to make his debut in the anime. And speaking of Gear 5, with his anime debut coming up, it seems a lot of you One Piece fans have forgotten your place, especially when talking about Dragon Ball. Half of y'all are saying that Luffy beats Goku, and the other half of you guys are saying that Gear 5 is going to be more iconic than Goku's transformation on Namek. So let's combine this sentiment to get the best of both worlds by putting current Luffy with Gear 5 up against Namek Saga Goku with Super Saiyan 1. Will Luffy vindicate his fans' claims by beating Goku, or will Goku just be too much for Luffy? But before that, I would like to thank all of you guys for helping me cross 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We've been growing so fast, so let's keep that trend going. So if you guys like the power scaling content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and let's get into the video. Let's start with Luffy, and here's a disclaimer before we really start his section. I am going to be ranking Luffy to the highest possible end you can get him. I want to use this opportunity to explain why this matchup is not close at all. I don't believe in any of this Luffy scaling, it's not very consistent, but let's throw it out the window and just get Luffy to as high as you can get him. But I do feel like I have to reiterate, you guys should not be using these metas. Starting off with the less nonsensical ends for One Piece scaling, we know for a fact that the world in One Piece, as in the planet, is much bigger than the planet Earth, with some calcs getting it to a fair amount larger than planet Earth, and others getting it to bigger than the sun. The planet being this big means, due to the size of the geography, a lot of island level feats can be calced to country level, and country busting feats can be calced to continental to multi-continental, which is where a lot of the consistent ends for One Piece scaling come from. I'd argue that Luffy should be multi-continental plus to possibly even moon level with Gear 5. This is due to casual feats being calced to multi-continental plus. We have feats that are in the exotons from casual kicks that Luffy should scale relative to arguably above. Moving on to more crazy ends that One Piece fans love to use. An old Whitebeard is stated multiple times to be able to destroy the world. Due to the One Piece Earth being bigger than our IRL Earth, people argue that this feat would make Whitebeard large planetary. This interpretation of Whitebeard planet busting is kind of dubious, and a lot of One Piece scalers will argue that it's wrong, but let's wank Luffy for this video. Like I said, let's say that Whitebeard is a planet buster. And trust me, compared to some of our later metas, this one is the most usable. For example, let's hear this star level meta that One Piece fans use. Current Luffy should be relative to all the other Yonkos, such as Blackbeard, and Blackbeard can fight Ace. The very same Blackbeard describes their struggle as the sun against the darkness. And due to this single statement, and I kid you not, people like to say Ace, and by extension Blackbeard, are star level. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see the holes in that meta, but let's just go with it. Moving on to a potential solar system meta, potential in quotes by the way. Blackbeard, who he established Luffy should be relative to and scales to, can produce and create a black hole-like attack. Due to it being like a black hole, in the context that it sucks stuff up, people try to equate his power to an actual black hole. Black holes can overpower the GBE, or gravitational binding energy, of stars and planets, but they can also overpower the GBE of neutron stars, which would put them at around solar system level. So people try to use this meta to claim that Luffy and Blackbeard and every high tier in the verse should be solar system level casually. Blackbeard's black hole also has an infinite gravitational pull, so they try to equate this power to high universal, but they fail to take into account that gravity isn't energy, it's a force, right? And force and energy is different. So, but hey, let's give them high universal at a highest end, bruh. Meaning that Luffy would scale anywhere from star level to universal, using really bad debunkable metas, granted, but we're wanking Luffy. We're giving him all the benefit of the doubt. It's his week. Gear 5 about to be more iconic than Goku. Moving on to an aspect of Luffy's stats that I don't have to wank, he should be easily faster than the speed of light to MFTL plus, and I'm pretty confident saying that. This is ultimately due to even pre-time skip Luffy being a light timer, as well as a number of his Straw Hat members being able to dodge beams of light that early in the series. This isn't even taking into account all of his gears, which amplify his stats, including his speed. This is ultimately pretty notable because Luffy has been shown to surpass previous versions of himself while using stronger gears. For example, there's a time where he got negged by Kakari while using Gear 4 as Toon Force. I guess Supersonic from Sonic 2 has Toon Force because the Chaos Emeralds can turn the user's imagination into reality as well. And I'm almost pretty sure Kaido himself confirms that due to Luffy's awakening, he can transfer his rubber properties into anything he's using. But if you want to say he has Toon Force, then he has the limitations of Toon Force as well, because contrary to popular belief, Toon Force isn't some omnipotent instant win button for anybody. You can be wall level and have Toon Force, you know? It's more or less just hacks at best. And there are also levels to Toon Force, so I think even the people that say Luffy does have Toon Force say that he has an extremely low version of it. And typically speaking, Toon Force users can't use their inherent abilities during a serious fight because that's not funny. Compare Luffy dog walking Kaido to something like Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd. It's kind of different, but it doesn't matter. Let's say he has Toon Force. So in conclusion, we've wanked Luffy to star level to universal, speed should be mastered faster Light Plus, and he has Toon Force. How does this compare to Goku? Moving on to Goku from Namek Saga. By the time he arrives on planet Namek, he has a power level of 90,000, meaning that he's stronger than a base Vegeta from the Saiyan Saga. The very same Vegeta that was going to destroy the planet Earth, and the same Vegeta that has shown the capacity to destroy planets, with the latter feat being calculated to anywhere from Dwarf Star level to even Star level, already putting Goku well above Luffy's mid-end using his wanked scale. To further support this Star level Namek Saga scaling, by the time he fights Final Form Frieza, he has a power level of 3 million. This power level will be almost 6 times greater than First Form Frieza. The same Frieza that destroyed Planet Vegeta with a single finger, with this feat being calculated to up to large star level. But what about Blackbeard's Black Hole? Does Namek Saga Goku have any answers to Solar System to Universal AP? And yes he does. Now before we get into this part, I'd have to acknowledge that though I agree that Goku wins, I don't agree in the Universal Namek scaling. I think it's a little too high for this early in the series, but seeing as how we're using objectively wrong metas for One Piece, I don't think wank for Dragon Ball is going to be that dangerous. So starting off with the Solar System stuff, Frieza's destruction of planet Vegeta was calculated to large star level as previously mentioned, but it was calculated to around 0.644 foes. Base Namek Saga Goku should scale massively above this, but for this calc, let's just say that he scales to this. Seeing as how Super Saiyan is a 50 times multiplier, and we put 0.64 foe times 50, we get around 32 foes, putting Goku in Solar System level off the bat. Solar System Namek Saga is consistent in the anime, seeing as how during the destruction of Namek, we get a panning shot that shows the entire galaxy. The explosion of Namek is shown to cover a pretty large distance or chunk of what's on screen. When calculated, this explosion would be around Solar System level, and a 1% dying Frieza tanked it. Like, he literally tanked it. He was unconscious, and he endured it and wasn't scratched by it.
It seems you lack confidence in Frieza's ability to survive such a pitiful blast. I tell you, my son is not so easily destroyed as a planet. He is out there.
Yes, there's a lot of injuries on him and he's in half and stuff of the sort, but all of that he received during his fight with Goku, like the missing face for example, because that's the side of his face that was hit by Goku's Kamehameha wave. So we have Frieza at 1% enduring an explosion that was Solar System level. I don't gotta explain to you why Goku would upscale off of this, as Goku and Super Saiyan 1 during this period of time could hurt a 100% power Frieza, while a Solar System level explosion couldn't even kill a dying Frieza. But moving on to the universal metas for the high universal Luffy tards. After looking at it all once again, Goku's universal metas are not that shabby, but it's definitely a higher end nonetheless. Before I get into the juicy universal Namek scaling, let's get all the nonsense statements out of the way. King Kai saying that even second form Frieza, and then once again restating that final form Frieza have the power to destroy the universe. You know, broad statements, nothing really that crazy, so yeah, that's one part of it. Another part I want to talk about is an interview with Akira Toriyama, where the interviewer asked him, why does Frieza have this large army even if he could destroy the universe with a blink of an eye? And obviously obviously Toriyama doesn't refute this line of thinking in the answer he gives him, so people use that to argue Frieza could be universal. And there's even one statement in the guidebook and another statement in the anime that say that Frieza's third and fourth form get power from another dimension, which I'm not even gonna get into what that means, but that could possibly be argued to be uni or something like that. With all of that wank out the way, let's get into the actual solid universal stuff. The best high uni stuff for Namek Saga definitely comes with the Genki Dama, or the Spirit Bomb as we know it here in the West. The Spirit Bomb is said to be composed of all living things in the universe, which would include stars, because even people like Neil deGrasse Tyson have argued that stars are living things. And assuming Dragon Ball is going off this logic, then Goku would have the energy of all the stars in the Dragon Ball universe. The Dragon Ball universe is composed of innumerable amounts of stars, so infinite stars equals infinite energy that Goku got in that Spirit Bomb. And if you think Goku getting his energy from all living things, including stars, is kind of radish, Goku himself states that he's drawing energy from all of the planets and stars of the universe to make this Spirit Bomb, which we've proven to be infinite. And there's two guidebook statements that back up this sentiment. One guidebook scan says that Goku's gathering all of the universe's chi, and another guidebook statement equates the Spirit Bomb against Frieza as the universe itself against Frieza. Frieza at 50% is able to survive this attack. And come to think of it, all of those broad statements of King Kai saying that Frieza could destroy the universe are kind of made consistent with this feat. I feel like it's important to note that this would scale to even 50% Frieza, and base Goku using Kaioken times 20 could evenly match him for a temporary amount of time, but he was able to hurt him, meaning that theoretically if you use this line of scaling, base Goku has universal metas even before Super Saiyan. Obviously this high universal stuff is kind of a higher end for Namek Saga, but it's not that shabby at all, and seeing how the only way you can get One Piece to the same level of power is by being wrong and equating force to energy, this high universal stuff is almost valid in comparison. But all of that power is useless if Goku can't even hit Luffy. So it's important to talk about if Goku has the speed ends to realistically fight on par, or even speed blitz Luffy. And I'm confident to report that Goku is much faster than Luffy, even using Luffy's highest ends. The main way to get Goku to massively faster than light is by using the ship that he travels in to get to Namek. On the map for the universe, Namek is shown to be on the opposite side of where Earth is on the universe. So Goku's ship is able to travel from Earth to the opposite side of the universe in the span of 6 days, meaning that's traveling at massively faster than light speeds. Because of Dragon Ball Z filler, we can get Goku's reaction and attack speed relative to this, as Goku in the filler episode has to get outside of the spaceship and fix it, and while he's on top of the spaceship, he has to react to the debris and the projectiles that the ship is passing while traveling at massively faster than light speeds. And this happened before Goku even finished training during this arc. So you can make the argument that Goku while traveling to Namek is already massively faster than the speed of light. But is this consistent? As we know, King Kai is able to pinpoint the exact location of this ship and have a whole conversation with Goku. But during Goku's fight with Frieza, he can't track them because they're too fast for him to track. So we have King Kai who can track massively faster than light plus ships, but he can't track Goku and Frieza's fight, as they're moving too fast for him to perceive and react to. The first MFTO plus meta would scale to base Goku, which is important because he has abilities such as Kaioken, which in this arc he can use up to times 20, amplifying his speed by 20 times as a result. And obviously he has Super Saiyan, which is a times 50 multiplier of his base. So base Goku has MFTO plus metas, and he has ways to amplify them drastically. So using these metas, Goku would be like 1,000,000 times faster than the speed of light. I've only seen Luffy get up to massively faster than light to that degree. I'd like to know that meta in the comments, because I don't know it. So I'm going to say Goku is drastically, massively, considerably faster than any form of Luffy that I've ever seen. Alright, so in conclusion, who wins this matchup? And I think it's no surprise to anyone who's listened to this video that Goku wins this matchup, low diff. All of the One Piece higher ends were pretty much copium, and if anyone tries to use these arguments against you, then just walk away because they're like laughably bad. There's nothing to say really. And for the guys screaming Toon Force, you guys do realize that people like Bugs Bunny scale as high as they do due to actually having feats, right? Bugs Bunny has scaling the DC Comics, that's why he scales that high. SpongeBob could destroy the universe. Gumball tanked the Big Bang. It's not their inherent Toon Force that grants them this high AP. It's them having the feats to back it up. And I don't think Luffy has Toon Force. This man was still getting pressed by Kaido, and then you're gonna pretend like he has some Bugs Bunny level reality warping? Come on, man, stop it. Luffy's not even top dog in his own verse at the moment, and when he fights Blackbeard, do you think it's gonna be a joke? I don't imagine it to be such a joke. And I think people saying he has Toon Force are desperate One Piece fans mad that in 1,000 chapters he still can't beat freaking Naruto. Realistically, One Piece is multi-continental to moon level, but I'm gonna give you guys the Whitebeard stuff as a possible high end, so planetary. Where does he end off in Dragon Ball? And he don't even make it past OG Dragon Ball. He really doesn't. For example, you have fathers like freaking Kami remaking the moon from scratch, which is a dwarf star level feat, by the way. Anyone who's seen OG Dragon Ball knows that Kami is a jobber and doesn't really scale to any of the high tiers of the series by the end of it all. Obviously, this is a higher end for OG Dragon Ball, but I'm giving One Piece planetary for the benefit of the doubt. So I gotta give OG Dragon Ball that same liberty, unless it wouldn't be fair. Or if you want to do consistent ends versus consistent ends, OG Dragon Ball still edges One Piece out with some small planetary calcs. So to all my One Piece fans, I'm happy for you guys, but come on, stop saying he beats Goku. He don't even make it past OG Dragon Ball. Come on now. But if you're still holding on to this narrative that Gear 5 and Luffy have freaking Toon Force, it doesn't matter because Aurelie, someone who's shown greater Toon Force abilities, exists in the Dragon Ball Z universe. And during Namek Saga, Goku and Frieza are considered the strongest forces during that time. So you can make the argument that they upscale from Aurelie, who is actually a Toon Force character, without a doubt. So Goku scaling to or above Toon gag characters is nothing new for him at all. But with that, thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys still somehow have any disagreements, take it to the comments. You know, tell me why I'm wrong. But until next time, stay Big G fans.